Again, I keep coming back to the PGA professional, but we're kind of chameleons, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? We can evolve and adapt ourselves to be whatever it is that you need us to be and to help you best in that situation, in that moment.
I'm everyone's favorite hype man.
Wow.
I just want everyone to play better golf. Welcome back, guys. Episode 9. Before we get into our topic, I want to thank everybody for the support so far. It's been fun. It's been great. It's been a fun past few weeks, and look forward to keep it rolling from here. Big topic today. We've kind of talked about everything golf related, club fitting wise, club tech. Haven't really talked about instruction. So I would say biggest thing is, can YouTube fix your golf swing?
Yeah, the question we want to ask today is, can you teach yourself how to play golf with using YouTube?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great content on YouTube, but I think it's so general that I think you can learn some technique from YouTube, but is it specific to that individual player? Every player has their own issues, whether that be how they move, maybe they have an injury, so they can't really teach the same person the same thing every time. Maybe it's a putting technique or a chipping technique. Okay, I buy that. But trying to teach a golf swing, the general term golf swing, I don't think you can do that.
What do you think, Kel?
Well, to me, the basis of YouTube, what is a YouTube video's goal in life?
Generate clicks.
Yeah. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
To get as many clicks, as many
true.
views as possible, to reach as many people as possible. So that being said, kind of on your point, it can't be specific to every individual. You're probably going to get some of those very cut and dry, old school tips we've always heard of, hold the golf club like a baby bird or something like, nothing really specific, or even if it is specific, how do you know if it's for you or not? It's not necessarily targeted. They're casting a broad net. Trying to get as many views as possible, which, nothing wrong with that.
That's what we do.
Right, exactly. That's what we're trying to do as well, too. We probably put some kind of a clickbaity title on this video, I'm sure, Miles. So, it's nothing wrong with that, but is that, at the end of the day, is that golf instruction meant for you? And I think that's the question you have to ask yourself. Can you learn how to play golf with that generalized golf instruction?
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the other side of the fence here. I'm going to say yes. Okay, I think of YouTube as an information.
I didn't say yes or no. I just said,
that's true. You say you still let the question open ended. So thank you, Caleb. I will be a little bit on the other side of the fence because I think of YouTube as it's an informational tool, right? I think can you teach yourself to go out on the golf course and play? Yes, I think YouTube's a great tool because there's a lot of great clickbaity topics. You can look up what's the perfect golf grip. You can go watch a YouTube video and get a good golf grip. I would suggest almost everybody do that because a lot of problems stem from a bad grip. But
yeah, sure.
I also think too, you can learn the basics. As someone that's new into golf, right, or someone that's new into anything, where's the first place they go? They mostly go to YouTube right now. YouTube's a DIY channel or whatever, right? I think everyone can most definitely go into YouTube and pick out, something to get them started in golf, right? Now, what they do from there, can YouTube teach you to play better golf? I would say is like the $1 million question.
Yeah, I would say I could agree with that. Like I could see where YouTube can get, especially with like golf etiquette, things you should know that you do if you're first time on a golf course, stuff like that. And like you would say, that kind of basic generalized golf instruction.
I think it gets you to a certain point.
Yeah.
At some point, though, you're going to need individualized instruction for your specific needs. Mm-hmm. And that's where I kind of throw up the red flag, where I think that YouTube doesn't cater to the person that has different swing mechanical issues. Like if you're trying to teach someone, for example, our PGA Hope program, how do you teach a soldier that has no right leg, that has a prosthetic right leg, to load and unload from the right side to the left side? You can't, So you have to do something different with their golf swing. Mm-hmm. So I just think that as much as it helps, I don't think it's for everyone. Yeah, I think there's some good content out there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, obviously, if I have issues with my own swing, I can seek out you guys. Mostly go to my dad because my dad knows when I'm hitting it well, what I'm doing, and then what I'm not. He can usually say something pretty easily that clicks with me. But I'm going to be the first person. If I feel like something's a little off, I go and try and find a video or hear somebody else say something, right? And that's coming from a teacher. I'm not afraid of looking at videos. I tell my students all the time, it's okay if you go watch YouTube videos, but don't take them as 100%, right? You know, don't search for something that's not an issue. I think YouTube can lead into a lot of people chasing something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, right.
Or creating issues.
I think one of the cool things, though, about YouTube, for me as an instructor, is that there's so many different instructors out on YouTube teaching that, like you said, Nikki, if I have something going on in my own swing, or maybe it's even one of my other students, and I just don't have a drill that's helping my student. So sometimes it's not about what you say, but how you say it. So coming up with another idea, another drill that another instructor has that's based on the topic of what I'm trying to get through to the student, I think that's another great resource to utilize. So, you know, I think there are pros and cons to the YouTube.
You know, but on it, that I would almost say too, like, you know what you're searching for.
Yes.
When you're looking on YouTube, right? I mean, the common golfer is typing in, how do I fix my slide? And they're getting videos telling them to do one of three things or all three, and that's to strengthen your grip, close your stance, and close the club face.
They don't understand why they're slicing.
Right, exactly.
You know, am I set up 3 miles left? My feet and my shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. I would probably say so. You know, being that there's these so many pros and cons to it, I'd be interested to ask you guys, 'cause I haven't asked you this question yet. What do you think is missing in YouTube golf right now on the instructional side? Do you guys think there's anything? Do you think everyone's covered every base and it's just flooded with information? Or do you think there's something that you don't see a lot on YouTube that I mean, heck, even we could do?
I was going to say, I mean, there's obviously, YouTube is such a broad place. There's a lot of topics covered, but there's still some room for unfiltered golf instruction, I feel like. Instead of the clickbaity topics, and I don't know how many views it would get, but actually deep diving into some actual golf fundamentals, golf swing fundamentals, instead of teaching the...
I think teaching the fundamentals is one thing, but learning how to play golf, you know, like
that's what I want to.
And that's what I'm getting at.
On course, you know, I guess how do I dissect this golf hole? You know, course management. Those are the things I want to see. Even just a mental preparation. How do you prep for go into a round or a tournament or something like that? Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking right now, right? And obviously that's something that we can do, but something that's what's most popular right now on YouTube is actually watching people play golf. You have all these other different groups that play golf, and they get a bunch of views, and people enjoy watching that. If someone types in like golf instruction, they're just going to see so many tips, so many tips and drills, but there's not really any videos out there. It's like, how do you play from that lie?
How do you play
golf? Because there's a difference. I tell people all the time, you don't play golf swing, you play golf.
Yeah.
Now, a really bad golf swing makes it really hard to play golf. But that being said, you can still play really good golf with something that's not so fundamentally sound golf swing. So YouTube loves to talk about the fundamentals. There's not a lot of opportunity out, or there's a bunch of opportunity. There's not a lot of actual videos on how to play.
Yeah. I want to see videos from the mountains of them having to play a side hill lie, uphill, downhill, you know, and where's my weight supposed to be? How am I supposed to, you know, approach this golf shot? I think that helps more than anything, because you get out there, we're hitting range balls, and everybody's got these, you know, even good golfers have perfect swings on the driving range. But what happens when you're in the thick rough on a side hill lie and you've got to hit this 150-yard shot? How do you approach it?
Yeah.
You know?
what club you choosing. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, you know, and
How
obviously,
thick's the rough?
well, yeah,
3 inches.
Chip out.
honestly, that's always going to be 90% the better play. The
Yeah.
better play for most golfers. If you're in the thick rough, chip out, get the ball in play. You know, but that goes into it, right? There's so much great content out there in the world. There's a lot of really bad content, especially golf instruction on YouTube, but there's still that huge void. This game is so broad. There's so many. I mean, there's 29,000 PGA professionals, you know, so, you know, we're not the only ones thinking this.
Right.
You know, but biggest thing is where do you go from there?
Yeah, so I think, you know, why would a golfer want to come see us? Or when do you think is the right time? What do you think is more beneficial for them coming to see us?
I would say is actually be able to have that in-person communication, right? Communication is let's start from the beginning. So if a player's sitting there and a lot of times that they've never taken lessons, only watched videos, how do they know to come see us? I would say easiest is when you feel like you're lost and you're grinding on the range and you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing not even an ounce.
So and your search history is 3 pages long.
And and then you know your phone's running so slow because your search history is so bogged up.
Yeah.
But then it's probably time. But no, seriously, if you're ready to, if you feel like you're on the range and you can't find it with all your saved videos and things like that, it's probably time to come in and see us.
I mean, I would actually say it's before that, but I always feel like the PGA professional is obviously an expert in the game of golf, but is someone that can kind of get you pointed in the right direction. Whether it's just if you're a beginner, you get one lesson, and then from there you kind of go on your own golf journey for a little while before you look back around to them and come back later. And kind of get pointed in the right direction, so to speak.
Yeah, now I'll speak on the topic of to everyone out there that's going to seek instruction. Please see a PGA professional, and here's my take on it. If golf professionals are not trying to get you better as fast as they can, I don't want to see you in my class 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I want to give you instruction, get you playing the best that you can, and I want you to go play golf. That's what we do. And we're supposed to be helping you, you know, enjoy playing this game. And I'm not the type of instructor to sell lesson packages. In fact, here we don't do lesson packages. That's just not something we do. We take the stance of we're going to get you better as quick as we can to get you on the golf course and playing the best golf you can. So,
yeah. I mean, exactly that. I think if you're out there struggling and you're trying to figure it all out by yourself, from personal experience, it's a dark, lonely road there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a black cloud, Caleb.
Right, there's your black cloud.
But it's and that's the thing. We all do it. We as instructors do it. We constantly have to learn. We're constantly evolving.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the difference between using a search algorithm to find golf tips for you on a social media platform, essentially, or having a human person that's there and watching your golf swing, your golf shots, and how you play golf, and learning what's the best path forward for instructing you. I mean, I always kind of say, and we all have our own teaching philosophies, but you know, my teaching philosophy boiled down into a nutshell is ball don't lie.
True.
correct.
And what I mean by that is the ball flight is what matters, right?
Exactly. And then we work backwards from there.
Yeah, so essentially, if I'm working with a student, I'm watching their ball flight, and I'm trying to make a determination of whether we need to make a change in ball flight or not. If they have a consistent ball flight and it's a 3, 4, 5, 6 yard, maybe even a 10-yard draw, maybe we just adjust aim, right? That might be the best path forward for that student. It depends. But if they don't have a consistent ball flight, they're missing left or missing right, then we probably need to then look at what to determine, you know, how to correct that ball flight.
I always go to PGA. And I've had to use that acronym for a while, and that's posture, grip, and alignment. So I think that's the basis or the root of all.
So I think that's the first thing you look at to correct what the first problem is. And to me, that's strike location.
Exactly.
Next most important thing is after ball flight is strike location.
Yeah.
Centerness of contact. If you can't hit the center of the club face, then we don't know where that golf ball is going to go.
Yeah.
Right. So we always, if I'm working backwards, that's the way my thought process is going. What's the ball flight look like? What's the strike location look like? After that, is there, okay, so they're striking it consistently on the toes. There's something about their setup that's making them do that. Kind of working your way down that problem that way. YouTube, unfortunately, can't see you do that, right?
Yeah.
And those YouTube videos don't know that you've got a little push fade, your divots are toe heavy, and you're striking the ball on the toe. So they don't know how to give you instruction based off of your characteristics.
Well, I will say YouTube does a good job of just going directly ball flight.
Right.
How to fix probably the most popular question on YouTube is how to fix my slice.
Yeah.
So technically that's ball flight related, but they don't do the why.
Right. That's what I say.
that.
Yeah. And I think that's just as important.
Yeah.
I mean, if you I've seen so many of these swings, why people slice. See guys that left knee buckles in, so they get a reverse pivot. Club goes across the plane. They get the impact. They reverse pivot, and club face is open. They're swinging, 8 degrees outside in.
Well, I can't tell how many people I've seen that slice the ball simply because they're aiming 30 or 40 yards left.
Oh yeah, they're setting up for that.
If they're
Path is crazy neutral, and
if you're playing for a slice, guess what? You're going to slice it because you got to. But
And that's the cool thing. I think one thing you can go out there, and now I'm going to plug YouTube. YouTube has some great. What we're talking about, ball flight, is the direction of which.
Plug a certain YouTube channel though.
I'm not going to plug a YouTube channel.
What?
No free ads.
Plug ours.
Well, ours, yeah, but we don't have a ball flight video up.
Well, maybe we're working on one.
Dean will remember it, but there's some you can go out there and learn. Tiger always used to talk about he hits every single ball flight on the range when he's warming up.
9 windows.
Nine windows. You can go and learn that, and then go from there, right? So obviously, there's some great videos out there that a person can go and learn what exactly we're talking about. Go try it themselves, and if you can't hit any of those 9, which 90% of golfers can probably only hit 2 or 3 of the 9 windows. Come see us. We'll help you hit the others. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. I think information is king. So the more information you have at your disposal, it can only be a positive. It's what you do with it.
Yeah.
Right. I tell a lot of my students will send me videos and be like, what do you think of this? Majority of the time, I'm going to tell them that does not relate to you because that video, that dude's 6'4" and plays an inch-long club. His lie angles are probably crazy upright. Everyone swings the club very different. Mm-hmm. So you can't, and that's where it's like, but what I do like about that is, though, they're thinking about it. The number one thing is if you're serious about the game, if you're serious about getting better, you're going to think about it. You're going to go down some bad rabbit holes, but more often than not, you'll find some things that click for you.
Yeah. I mean, I tell a lot of my students, too, just thinking about golf is golf practice.
Sure.
And I always remind them, practice. If you don't have time to practice and hit golf balls every day,
we got a friend
or frequently,
it's annoying.
To grab a golf club and just practice your grip for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because that's golf practice, and you're thinking about golf. You're obviously, if you're gripping the golf club, you're thinking about your golf swing. So I've always thought any of those little things like that you can do is golf practice.
Okay. Now, I was going to say, we already said why or when they should come to us. What's next? What do you think is holding a golfer back from really seeing in-person professional help?
I've seen this a lot. The nervous tension about having someone else watch your swing and passing judgment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's. Do you think a doctor is going to pass judgment on you? No, the doctor is there to really sincerely help you.
Well,
I can only speak this. My wife's a physician, so I know that she genuinely cares for every single patient that she sees, and I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Athletic training background, but every client that comes in, I genuinely want them to get better.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they slice it 50 yards or they have a bad hook or whatever the case may be. I want to fix it. It's a problem that I want to fix because it's a challenge for me as an instructor. And when I get that light bulb moment in that instruction, that 1 hour session that we have, and they see a change, and you can kind of see the barriers or the layers start to peel off the guard that they had when they first came in. That's what does it for me, as an instructor.
I mean, I would say I think one of the biggest barriers to coming in and seeking professional advice on your golf swing, your golf game, is egos.
Yes.
It's like a badge of honor to be able to say, I did it myself.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's kind of something for whatever reason, especially in modern day, it seems like a lot of golfers really want to be able to say, I taught myself how to play golf. I've taught myself how to do everything else I've ever done.
I see that with men.
I've taught myself how to play golf. Yeah.
You're exactly right on that. I'm going to be the first teacher to pride you on making the changes. I'm not going to take any credit for anything.
Let's face it, I'm not making a swing.
We joke around all the time. I mean, I have a lot of great students that are like, nah, man, you helped me. I'm like, but you got to realize this is all you, my man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be your biggest hype man.
Exactly.
Trust me, I want to boost your ego.
Yeah.
So don't shut me down
Yeah.
to essentially say, I don't take lessons. I don't need you. It's like, no, man, I'm just trying to help. I'm going to be your hype man. I'm going to say that's all you. So when your buddy comes to me and it's like, hey, Tom's beating the crap out of me now. What are you doing? I'll be like, nah, it's all him,
all Tom.
All Tom,
Yeah, I mean, it's all we can do is provide the information.
Yeah.
But the client has to put in the work. We can't be with them every day as they practice. Mm-hmm. But we can certainly see if they have been practicing. I can tell right away from lesson 1 to lesson 2 if they've done any work. I think that's the biggest thing is.
I also think probably one of the largest barriers that people can't get over that would get them not to come into the lesson bay is time.
Yeah, time.
So and I think what I mean by time is they think they can't accomplish enough in an hour.
Right.
I would say I tell everyone our lessons are 45. Really, the actual lesson's 45 minutes, an hour in total time. And a lot of people think in 45 minutes in our world right now is not a lot of time. I mean, you can easily sit in traffic in Wilmington for 45 minutes and only go 2 miles. But
do it basically every morning,
But you can't. And I think what people need to do is the proper way to take instruction is to only focus on one thing.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes is a lot of time
to talk about one thing.
Less is more.
I say we can cover a lot of stuff in 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. Enough to where your head might.
I mean, how often do some people kind of get turned off by 45 minutes? I mean, it happens quite a bit, but once you get through that 45 minutes, you're like, holy cow, that 45 minutes fixed a lot of things, right? Yeah. And it's where do you go from there? It's like, okay, cool. Now the next 45 minutes, you focus on something completely else.
Well, your job as a student is to go and practice what you worked on in that first 45 minutes to where you have now created a new tendency to when you come in for the second one, you can work on something new.
Yeah.
I always feel like I always try to give them a process. And I kind of jokingly mentioned that it almost really doesn't matter what your process is, as long as you have one and you do it every time. And what I mean by process, it might be a thought process of how you envision, stand behind a golf ball for just a second, envision a shot, and then step in and try to create what you pictured. Your process is what kind of leads to how you perform, I feel like.
I use this analogy a lot with my students. So when you first learned to tie your shoes, you struggled. It wasn't easy.
You got to think step by step.
But now, if I turn off the lights, you're in pitch black dark, and I hand you each shoestring, you could probably tie your shoes in the dark just because of muscle memory. When you take golf instruction, you've taught your body to do something that's necessarily not what we want you to do. But we've got to introduce, we've got to get into your subconscious, and then you have to make it a conscious movement. You got to consciously think about it to make it subconscious.
Correct.
Well, what do we, in a lot of golf instruction, what do we call that quite a bit? Feel versus real.
Yeah, feel versus real. Yeah. Oh, gracious.
That's what we mean by that is we need to train to fix your subconscious, essentially.
I'm the best example of that. I can't get rid.
Well, easy.
Well, I'm saying like right now, guys, I've been stuck to the inside for past few weeks, and I'm trying to get out of that. And I can have a swing that I feel like I'm coming over the top. I'm casting the club, and I'm still 1 degree, 2 degrees.
But I mean,
inside
how
out.
many people would kill to have that problem?
I know.
Right. So
If you're hooking the ball, play the hook, my man.
yeah, exactly. Slinger's gonna sling.
Yep.
But that goes back to our point of just playing golf, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what's the objective in golf?
Get the ball in the hole
And
in the least amount of strokes possible.
so and then when I talk about fundamentals of golf, that's what I mean. Those are fundamentals of golf. Is
I tell you,
playing your way around the golf course.
some of the best rounds that I've had, and I think Caleb, and one of the things I like about your game is that there's not a lot of thought process going during the round. But
How do you know?
well, I've played with you a couple times.
But do you know what's going on in my head?
I don't, but it just seems like there's.
I was
not
gonna
a
say you
lot
don't
going
want to
on.
know it's a scary place.
Yeah, I mean, me too, but it just looks like, it's pretty simple. Like you don't take a whole lot of time over the ball.
Right.
You kind of have your routine and not thinking a whole lot.
That's because I've done all that before I got there.
I think, like for me, I forgot, you made me lose my point now.
Good.
You're talking about something that you liked about Caleb's
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, it just not thinking too much. Or some of the best rounds that I've had, that's what I was going to, is this whenever I can just go up and just try shots. Like, okay, I'm going to hit a cut here. And don't think about the score. Okay, I'm going to play a cut off this tee, or this shot requires me to start it at this bunker and hit a draw. I think about hitting golf shots and what it takes to hit that golf shot, and I don't think about anything else around me.
So I would say in those rounds of golf you're mentioning, you were playing golf,
Yes,
and you weren't playing golf swing.
correct.
You were just
I'm
seeing a
not
target
worried
reacting to
how
that.
much inside out or outside in,
Right. And that's what I mean by
yeah.
process. That's what I mean is we see a target, we come up with a game plan in our mind of how to approach attacking that target, and then we just execute. It's kind of like that flow state kind of thing.
Yeah.
But,
You judge yourself on the execution.
correct. Yeah. But that might be a topic for a different day.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously this is the start of a little bit of a lesson a teaching series, right? We're gonna get in depth into some other things teaching related. We just wanted to really introduce whether or not how good of a tool is YouTube. I think it's super strong. I think the more information a golfer has, the better off they're going to be. Yeah. Just making sure that if you find a video series that you love and you stick with it and it's made you a better golfer, you don't need to prove to anybody else that worked for you.
I was going to say,
right?
I mean, golf is a very unique sport. It's a very individual sport. I mean, everyone, you may be able to find everything you need to find about golf on YouTube and be able to learn to play really good golf that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you may struggle in the woods, so to speak, because you're lost with all the information that is out there.
Yeah.
I really feel like that's what the PGA professional is for, the teaching professional. There's a resource you can go to that kind of help you, honestly, like I say, just to help you get pointed in the right direction, if nothing else.
Yeah. And how often does somebody come into those lessons and say, I've been working on this, and you tell them, no, that looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times if someone tells me they've been really focusing on something and they show me in those first few swings in the bay, and they're like, what do you think about that? And I'm like, no, I love that.
Yeah, play it.
And that's the biggest thing. It's if you can really wrap your mind around one thing, stick with it, train it, and then you go see your professional, your teaching pro, that's what they want to see. They want to see you grinding, trying. And I always tell all my students, try new things, try and fail, right? Now, I also don't want to create new issues either.
No.
So it's a really broad game.
But that's what the PGA professional is for.
Yep.
Is to help you specify down what you need to be working on.
And obviously I'm sure we'll definitely put out some tips, videos, and things like that. And what we ultimately want to tell the consumer that's watching that video is, we hope you learn something, but it's not the Bible. Like, you don't take everything
as gospel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's not written in stone, so to speak. But and I think that's what, again, I keep coming back to the PGA professional, but we're kind of chameleons, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? We can we can evolve and adapt ourselves to be whatever it is that you need us to be and to help you best in that situation, in that moment.
I'm everyone's favorite hype man.
Wow.
I just want everyone to play better golf.
Yeah.
Now, however you get there, it's up to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I've gravitated to I have a lot of high school and collegiate players that I've been coaching lately, and I don't know whether that's, I think with them that they want guidance more so than just instruction.
Yeah.
They need help on and off the golf course.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy being a coach and having the opportunity to coach. My son's school golf team has been incredible. But it's great. I think about our academy here is that each of you guys have different walks of life that you guys have been through, different instructors you've been underneath, different clubs, and we all bring a collective, but we all kind of see the golf swing the same way, but we just have different approaches of how we get there. But we all collaborate, have a collaborative effort of teaching the base of teaching the same. And that goes back to your ball flight.
Yeah, correct. I was gonna say, we all probably have our preferences of things that we like to see in a golf swing.
Yes.
And those might be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, the result that matters is the ball flight the golf swing produces.
That's right.
And whether that person is comfortable producing the ball.
Correct. And I always kind of joke, when we're practicing, we might be working on a drill. And a lot of my drills that I like to work on, I want them to, number one, you just work on the motion. The point of a drill is you're not going to get it right away. So, don't be afraid of failure. Go out there and try and practice and try to do something different. Work on it until you get to the point where you can make consistent, solid contact. And then from there, what's your ball flight look like when you achieve that? Is that ball flight something that we need to adjust, or is it good to go? So it's always end up in that results ball flight.
So I have a good question for you. Because I get this question a lot. So when we tell people we have an indoor golf academy, I always get to, it's indoor? So do you think it's more beneficial or as beneficial for an outdoor lesson versus an indoor lesson?
I think both outdoor and indoor lessons serve different purposes.
Agree.
With indoor, I think we have the advantage of, number one, we know exactly the environment we are in.
Yeah.
Okay, we're working on basically in a vacuum. We don't have to worry about, it's kind of cloudy, it might rain, it's wind is blowing really hard outside. There's these external factors that are distracting me from my golf swing. We can just focus on you.
Yeah, so outside agencies are not affecting the ball flight that I'm teaching the student or watching the student hit.
Correct.
You could have a gale force right to left wind that's forcing the ball flight to curve more than you want it to, or more than what it looks like it's doing.
Yeah, and I think we were going to dive more into that, especially next week.
Right. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I think both serve different purposes. Yeah. Obviously, you can't. To be totally honest, in my own opinion, you can't replace seeing ball flight outdoors. There's no real replacement for that. However, there are definitely technologies that have gotten way better at projecting ball flights now. And then, like I say, I think from an instruction standpoint, where we don't want to have the golfer worrying about things outside of their control affecting them, being indoors and, like I say, the vacuum, so to speak, is a good place to work on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you want someone to ultimately get the most out of what their swing is giving them. We can see that a little easier indoors than we can outdoors, just because our environment is always consistent. It's always the same, and where we take it from there. It's up to the instructor and up to the student.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you guys want to add?
I'll say at the end of the day, where do we stand on our answer? Can YouTube teach you the game of golf?
I think YouTube is a good starting point. And then at some point, there's going to be a need for individual instruction from a PGA professional.
Yeah, I would agree. It can get you off the ground, get your feet on the ground, get you running a little bit. But at some point, you need to put a team of people around you to help you play it. If you're going to play the game for a lifetime and kind of try to really get into the game, surround yourself with a team of people that are there to support you.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback off that. I think most definitely YouTube can teach you how to start playing golf. I don't think it will be your golf coach.
Right.
So, but information's great. Information's great. So, but that'll do it. Cool. Well, thank you everybody tuning in. Episode 9. We hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you to all our service members for that have fallen, and for the people that are continuing to serve our country. We really appreciate you guys a lot.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Look forward to next week. We're going to pick right up. We're going to continue this instruction run. So stay tuned.